Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And thank you for being here. All right. Today our topic is, will asylum go away under Trump? Okay. And so thanks for tuning in. Welcome, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you for being here, and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. Okay? Today our theme is, will asylum go away under Trump? And my question for everyone is, do you want to find a strategy or an option or have a plan in place so that you can navigate the Trump administration well? Do you want to figure out a way to come out of the shadows and apply for immigration status so that you can improve your future? Because if so, go for it. And I'd love to help you with that. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 cases in the next 10 years. We would love for your case to be one of them. Okay? And so thanks, everyone, for tuning in. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm a certified specialist in immigration and nationality law by the State Bar of California. And I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C. We're a law firm based out of Oakland, California. We fight for the rights of immigrants throughout the United States, and we have clients throughout the world. Okay? So thanks for tuning in. It is January 9th. I'm recording this on the date January 9th, 2025. We're less than 2 weeks away from the second administration of Donald Trump. Okay? Right now, there's some news this morning. Let me kind of pull this over here so I can read it for you. Right now, there is an act, there is a law, a bill that's being proposed in U.S. Congress. All right, it's called the Laken Riley Act. All right, and it is being considered on the 7th. So 2 days ago, the House of Representatives passed the bill. It was a 264 to 159 person vote, so it included support from 48 Democrats in the House of Representatives. We're going to see what happens with this. This is a bill that it's named after a nursing student in Georgia who was murdered by an undocumented immigrant. Okay, and that bill will require that undocumented immigrants are detained by immigration once they're arrested for any theft-related crime. Okay? And that bill also authorizes states to sue the federal government which is uncommon, I've never heard of this before, but it allows states to sue the federal government for quote-unquote inadequate enforcement of immigration laws. And the Senate is expected to vote on this bill, all right, like relatively soon. We're going to see what happens there. And it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I am just kind of learning about it myself, even as I'm talking right now. And we don't know what would actually pass. Like if something actually does pass the Senate, then we'll do a much more thorough training about it. Okay? But anyway, I wanted to share that that's happening. You're going to want to tune into it. The best way to see updates and additional news about that, subscribe to our channel. We will give additional trainings about it if this does actually pass and become law. Okay? So, and it's a sign of the times, right? Things are moving, even right now, even before Trump is elected, things are moving in kind of an anti-immigrant direction, which makes me sad, right? I'm not saying that everything about this bill is necessarily anti-immigrant. Well, I don't know. Let me really read the text once it gets through the Senate, and we'll see, right? So, it's this tension between immigration enforcement on the one hand and public safety on the other hand is what it's about, right? But that's like, yeah, it's a unfortunate mess. So that's going on. In the meantime, Trump is 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away now, from entering the White House. ICE is talking about mass deportation efforts. There's rumors that some of that will include reinstituting ICE raids, even at work and at other sites. I've done trainings about that in the last couple of weeks. If you want to see those, check out our YouTube channel. All right. According to Tom Homan, Trump's new border czar, the day one plan, as they will quote unquote secure the border on day one. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean asylum's going away, folks? What do you think? All right. Securing the border has tension, right, with the Immigration Nationality Act that gives all people the right to file for asylum, right? And so there's tension there. Everything that we're talking about within the law, it's like there are competing laws back and forth, and there's competing policy back and forth. Tom Homan has also said that on day one, they're going to change the way, or maybe even end the way, the CBP1 app is being utilized at the border. They're going to end the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan parole program. They're going to end, quote unquote, catch and release, which basically means that they're going to detain people that are coming across the border, or they're just going to, probably not day one, but soon, they'll probably create or reinstitute the Remain in Mexico program so that people, if they're seeking asylum, they have to wait in Mexico, remain in Mexico until their case is heard, which is a long time. It's a process. It's a slow process with lots of people involved. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Thank you so much for being here. Again, my name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And now let me talk about it in a little bit more detail. Let's talk about asylum law. Would asylum law actually go away under Trump? Well, so what is asylum, right? Asylum means protection. It's existed under international law. It's based on the 1951 Geneva Convention on the Status of Refugees. All right? This is passed on an international law basis after World War II. All right? Imagine that you're a German Jew fleeing the Nazi genocide to a different country. And you're like, hey, please don't deport me back to Germany. They're going to put me in an internment camp and kill me. All right, imagine you're in that situation. Well, okay, that's the context that asylum laws were created. Like, a person should not be deported back to a place where they face that kind of human rights abuse, genocide. Okay? The United States has ratified that international treaty by Congress. U.S. Congress ratified it. The Immigration Nationality Act grants all people the right to seek asylum in the United States. Right? If that were to change, it would be the U.S. undoing its commitment to international human rights law. I don't think it's going to go away. Like, if you ask the question, will asylum go away under Trump? My response is probably not. I do not think that Congress is going to undo its commitment to the protection of people who are fleeing for their lives directly. I don't think they're going to directly just unratify, amend away U.S. asylum laws. However, there will definitely be some serious legal restrictions. Like, they're not going to do away with asylum. They're just going to make it close to impossible. They're going to make it very, very difficult and very narrow. All right? They want to make it as narrow as they can. All right? So, for example, they'll reinstitute the Remain in Mexico program. All right? To make people from outside coming up through Mexico, before they can request asylum, they got to wait to have their case heard from Mexico. That means we're going to have clients in Mexico hire our office to represent them at a hearing where we're on video, they're on video, or maybe in person in like some courtroom tent, all right? And we're presenting their case before a judge. That's going to happen, okay? And they're going to make asylum more difficult by detaining more people, while they are fighting their asylum case, which makes the process horrible, right? But better to be detained, I mean, in theory, right? Better to be detained in the United States than killed in a home country. But still, that's a huge kind of infringement in your own personal liberty, in your own personal freedom. Okay? Additionally, they will likely try to undo some of the more immigrant-friendly interpretations of asylum law. Okay? Like, these are like cases that have decided asylum law that I argue are like very necessary. Okay? Like, for example, if someone's fleeing for their life from persecution from like a domestic relationship, domestic violence related asylum claims, right? The Trump administration essentially undid or undermined domestic violence-based asylum in his first administration. It's very likely that they'll try to do that again. Similarly, there are programs in place. These have been in place under Biden, right? The Circumventing Legal Pathways program, the Securing the Border program. It's made it nearly impossible to claim asylum if you enter the U.S. unlawfully. All right? And so we're going to see if those things happen. You know, does that make sense? As I'm talking, if you have questions, feel free to submit your questions. I see some being submitted already. Okay? And so thank you for being here. I hope this is useful. I hope it's helpful. The bottom line is, in my opinion, asylum law itself isn't going to go anywhere. Like, it's international human rights law. The U.S. Congress has ratified it. It's been in place for decades. However, I think Trump and his administration will make the process very difficult to obtain. I think they're going to make it very risky for people to request it because you might be detained while you're requesting it. Okay? And so, you know, bottom line is if you're afraid to return to your home country, and if you want to seek legal protection in the form of asylum, it is more important than ever, right? It's more important than ever that you seek good legal advice, that you make sure that you have a case that's worth filing from the outset. There will be some cases where the best advice is to not file unless. Not file unless ICE were to pick you up. Not file unless you're put into deportation proceedings first. Because otherwise the risk is that you file and then you get detained or deported. Okay? Or put into deportation proceedings at least. Now, in some cases, that's what I'm saying is not, there's no one-size-fits-all rule. There's no one thing that I could say that's going to apply to everybody listening to me. There are some cases where the best advice is, yes, you should file for asylum now. Okay, there are still those cases. All right? But you got to know of the risks. You got to know of the challenges that you're likely to face. And the process is not going to be easy, folks. Okay? That's what I wanted to share. That's what I wanted to share. So that's my talk for today. Thank you for listening. I hope this is useful. I hope it's helpful. Send me your questions. If this was useful, right? If this is helpful information that you want to follow, that you want to be aware of, my best recommendation is to go to YouTube and type in Lander Home Immigration. That's my firm, all right? Lander Home Immigration. Once you go there, hit the subscribe button and also hit the notifications bell. When you do that, you can be notified, right? Whenever we upload an additional video with news and updates and things of that nature so that you can stay informed. Okay? That's what I got, folks. That's what I got. Thanks a lot. So let's see. Barber Freso, I see you here on Instagram. You say, disculpe, abogado. ¿Qué pasará si voy sin abogado a mi primer corte? Okay, what happens if I go to my court without a lawyer? Okay? First of all, good for you for going to your court, all right? Everybody needs to go to their immigration court case. Anybody that does not go, the judge orders you deported just for not going. Okay? So definitely go with, definitely go. All right? Now, if you don't have a lawyer your first hearing, what you would typically do is ask the judge for more time to find a lawyer. Does that make sense? Your Honor, I just need more time to find a lawyer. Can you give me some extra time? And then it's going to be up to the judge as to whether or not they do that. Right? No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you more time. You've got to do pleadings right here, right now. Well, that's tricky. So maybe they'll ask you those questions and set your case for a hearing or something like that. Typically though, at least in administrations in the past, even under the first Trump administration, and this is judge specific, every court is different, but typically a judge will say, okay, the first time, hey, we'll give you, another month? Right? How much time do you need to get a lawyer? Another month, another 2 months, something like that, 60 days, and we'll see you back in here and bring your lawyer that time, and then you can move forward. Okay? Barbara Freso, I hope that's useful for you. Que vaya a su corte y si no tiene abogado puede decir eso al juez, pedirle más tiempo. All right? And then hopefully that works. Great. So Lamara, I see your question here. Can a U.S. citizen child still sponsor their parents if both parents were undocumented? Can they change that law? Whether or not they can change the law, they can change lots of laws as long as they go through the process to change a law, which that's not easy for them to do. All right. It'll be easier than ever before, though, because they have a majority. It's not a big majority, but they have a majority of both the House and the Senate. All right, so they might start changing certain laws. We're going to see, right? But so can U.S. citizen child still sponsor their parents? Like right now, the law is that, yes, they can. Once a child turns 21, they can both petition and sponsor for their parents. The question is, how did the parents enter the United States? Because if the parents entered the United States lawfully with a visa, inspected, admitted, at least waived through, then they can make use of their children's petition. But if the parents entered the country unlawfully, they're going to need a waiver. And waiver cases, you can't do a waiver through a child directly. All right? You need a different qualifying relative to finalize that process. And so it's like you got to talk that stuff through with a lawyer before even getting started on it so you know whether or not you have a shot. Okay? All right, Mia Jesu, I see you here. Thank you. I'm a client of your firm. Hey, thank you. All right? I'm a client of your firm. My wife and I are bona fide by USCIS. You mean you're bona fide for a U visa. Is that what you mean? All right? Or that we have a bona fide relationship. My wife got her work permit and Social Security number about 4 months ago. On the other hand, I haven't received anything. Is there anything we can do? Okay, I got that. I got that. And so I'm assuming that this is a U visa process. I'm sorry that I don't have your specific details up. But it's common, right, that one spouse gets approved today and the other spouse takes a little bit of time. All right? 4 months ago, that doesn't worry me too much. Okay? And so, but it's good to monitor it. And it's like, okay, is there any difference between your and your wife's situation or case that might have caused your case to require additional review? Right? And we can look at that, and we can get to the bottom of that. But 4 months by itself doesn't worry me too much. If you're looking at like way outside of normal processing times, then there's things that we can do. We can contact the ombudsman. We could file what's called a mandamus action sometimes, and at the very least, we can start doing inquiries on your behalf, which we will do if, since you're working with us, if your case becomes really outside of processing times that are published by USCIS. But yeah, 4 months behind your wife, that's common. So I don't want you to worry too much about it. Okay? All right, let's see. Pesto, I see you here on TikTok. Is there any way to expedite the I-131 application? I sponsored my brother who's not in the U.S. The I-131 process. Yes, there is a way to expedite it. You need to have a humanitarian emergency, and then you're requesting an emergency advance parole travel document, right? So for like humanitarian situations, it is possible to expedite it. If you don't have that type of emergency, then no. All right, then no, you just got to wait the processing times. And even the humanitarian parole expedited travel document stuff, like that might go away under Trump. Like, we don't know, right? But our office won an expedited advanced parole case just last week. And so, and it was done very, very quickly, and so that was exciting for us. That client is traveling right now, and we're hoping that they come back in before Trump takes office. So I'm really excited about that. Let's see, Browley Orlando, I see you here. Hi from Sinaloa. All right, hello. Good to see you. All right, Veronica, I see you here on Instagram. Good to see you. Miriam, I see you there. Oh, let's see, U visa in danger. My certification had an error. Won't get a new one until February. Any advice? Keep working at it. Right? No, U visas are not going away in the month of January. Okay? So we're going to see what happens with them. And so you should be okay to get that certification and get it on file in February. You should be okay. Right? We don't have any news otherwise, at least right now. Pesto, I see you there. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Tara, I see you. Debbie, I see you. Arnie, I see you. User 735, I see you. Lots of good folks here on TikTok. Appreciate you all. Whether you're tuning in right now on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, thanks everybody for being here. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. I'm going to wrap up, and then we'll do the same episode in Spanish. Before doing that, though, I'd like to share an empowerment tip. We're talking about the Trump administration. They're coming back into power. They're anti-immigrant, right? My question for everybody is, are you ready for it? All right, because I want you to be. All right, and if my firm can help you in any way to get ready for it, we're here to help, and we'd love to help. All right? It's like we can't control everything that's going to happen in the future, but we can control how we respond to it. We can control how we prepare for it. And we can know our rights, right? I want everybody to know their rights. You can have an attorney ready to fight for you. You can make sure that you have your game plan in place, right? Because you want to be empowered. You want to be powered. You want to be cool, calm, and collected no matter what happens. All right? Come on, life. Bring it on. Challenge. It's a part of life. Difficulty. It's a part of life. right? Nobody said life was going to be easy, all right? The question is, how can we rise to that difficulty? How can we rise to that challenge? And we can do that, right? My clients, I mean, the immigrant community were some of the strongest people on planet Earth. We can face challenge. We can overcome challenge, right? And that's what it's going to take. It's what it's going to take, folks. Thanks to everyone so much for being here. Really appreciate each of you. My name is Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. We'll see you next time on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.